Sounds good.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to introduce you to my guest this week. We got Erin Acton today, and she is all the way from Canada. And I love interviewing people across different time zone and continent just to make it really hard. But I love that with technology, it's just so nice to be able to reach people from very different area around the globe, but also obviously they're different experience, and then at the same time you find something in common. So welcome to my show, Erin.
Thanks so much for having me. I totally agree. We've got so many more things in common. I've just found everyone I've spoken to. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So a little introduction about Erin. So obviously she's a very smart and successful modern, I don't know how to describe, because I also know you have a young daughter. So in a way, it's really, I think for a lot of us that really, striving to become someone who have your own career, but also have a family, have it all in balance. So that's why I'm also partly so interested in interview people like yourself, because I think a lot of us want to achieve that. And so hearing all the tips and experience will be wonderful. But anyway, introduction. So Erin is a certified life and business coach, digital media pro, and former broadcast journalist. She's also the founder of Acton Success Institute. And Erin helps time staff entrepreneur take action and take back control so they can rock their business and, I guess, have a fantastic life. She is also previous managing director of the Victoria chapter of E-Woman Network in Canada. So that's actually how I met Erin, and so I'm really excited to interview her today. So, okay, so first of all, I think I want to ask you, I guess we kind of lean into it a little bit, because we talk about a lot of us, like women, whether they're listening, they're in the 20s, 30s, or 40s. Many of us have a sort of a common goal, which is having a meaningful, good career that we enjoy, and obviously earn enough money, but at the same time have a good relationship and have a good family life and so forth. And I think that's a lot in common for lots of women.
We want it all.
We want
Absolutely.
it all.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a lot of people who turn to coaches or to become coaches, because I think a lot of coaches have to walk that talk. So tell me a little bit about your origin story, or what got you interested in coaching in the first place?
Yeah, well, I have very much always been one of those people who wants to do it all. I'm kind of like, if there's something new, I want to do it. And I love doing all of those things. And what ended up happening is that I ended up burning out. So have you really lived in your 30s if you haven't burned out? No, I'm just kidding. What I was noticing is that, I had a young daughter. I was working in the corporate world, working tons of hours because I really enjoyed the work. I mean, I didn't enjoy all the work that I was putting into it, but the work itself I loved. But I was just realizing that, wow, this working harder, faster, longer actually isn't giving me the results that I want. And so getting to that place where I ended up burning out through, my choices to do that. I had that aha moment. Oh, is this what I really want for myself? And that combined with some of the work I'd been doing with the people who were reporting to me, loving having those conversations where you're asking them questions and they're finding their own answers instead of me having to be the answer lady as the manager all the time. I was not into that. That really attracted me to the coaching world. And I'm like, well, if I am having these struggles, like I do want it all. I want, amazing relationship with my husband. I want fantastic relationship with my daughter. I want to, have a fulfilling career. I bet there are other people out there who are just like me, who would really love support in this area, because I pushed myself until it was too far. And what if I was able to help those people before they got to that point? So that's what really got me into it. And over the years, I've just really loved working with business owners who I don't think I fully appreciated how much work goes into building a business, and creating a really successful business. But often you hear the kind of the joke, you trade in your 40-hour work week for an 80-hour work week, or you only work 18 hours a day instead of the 9 to 5 when you're in the corporate world as a business owner. So love working with those women who have those big visions and dreams for their businesses and for their lives, and helping support them to do that.
I think we'll come back to that a little bit more about the hours issue. But before that, I actually want to dive a little bit deeper in terms of one of the things you said, because I also have been in corporate world for a long time, and there's always just striving for more, right? Growth, business growth, revenue growth, every year on year. You keep on reading the financials. It's always about year on year, more and more. The forecast keep pushing, the line keep pushing forward. We are all just running behind that line. It's keep pushing forward. But life, it's not that linear, right? Because I noticed, especially for women, we go through seasons. And I think that's the best way to live. Some season, we're in this spring feeling where we want to start a business, or actually, plant a lot of seeds, maybe a new creative project, or maybe a new product in our business, whatever that is. There's that energy. But then there's also winter energy, where it's just not right. It's about reflection, about maybe learning or researching, or just, focusing internally. And I think that's what fascinates me to work, with people, entrepreneurs, more in the cycle of balance and harmony mindset than pushing forward more and more and more and more. So I think that was something really stood out when you talked about it, because as a woman, I don't know, like, how do you find it when you said it before, you got burned out, but that's not how it's not the only way.
No, it's not. And I think that's what I love about coaching, because there's no really one right way to create that fulfilling life for yourself. Because I know a lot of people who hear the word work-life balance and they're like, oh, that sounds awful.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, work-life balance, that sounds like I'm just laying around and being lazy all the time. It's funny. Yeah.
We're so hard on ourselves. Balance
We
is not even good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, so there are some people who really love having a lot of pep and go and being go all the time. They love that. And so their version of balance, or their cycles, their rhythms, are so much different than the other person, And so I love working with people because each of us is unique, and we have our own unique approaches. Like, there's no one time management system that works for everyone. It's like, well, how do we figure out more about you and what works best for you, so that you can really shine with your own cycles, your own seasons, your own way of being in the world, so it feels more fulfilling. Because I don't know about you, Wing, but I feel like there's a huge kind of like this driving culture, both in the business world and the corporate world, that we must go all the time. And like you were saying, continually grow, get those year over year profit, continue to grow your results and that year over year, and just keep on going that way. And I feel like there are just so many different ways that we could approach creating success that doesn't necessarily require the go constant hustle, unless you really love that. If you love that, then embrace it. If you don't, then let's find another way that works for you.
And so much of it I felt is that fear of you're missing out. If you are not moving forward, then you are falling back, right? That sort of mentality keep us sort of pursuing. Sometimes we don't even take a pause. And I don't know about you, but I think for me, when I'm in my 30s, definitely there's this sense of, maybe, the biological clock may be clicking. For some people, maybe they have certain amount of success, so they want to maybe find someone they will spend their weekends with, then the relationship piece kick in. So women have different stages. So that linear thinking kind of doesn't work, especially for women. And one of the reasons I left my previous career in the movie and entertainment industry, it's that there's no time, there's no downtime. And the environment, that particular environment I was in, most women around me is either single or divorced or having dysfunctional relationships. And at some point, it kicks in for a woman that you want more than career, you want more than, finances. I mean, those are really great things, right? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just find it very fascinating to think that way.
Totally. I so agree. Yeah, so agree. 100%.
And, like with coaches, one of the things, especially when I was started out, I noticed is that, when people want to lose weight, they go to the gym and they get a PT trainer. And it's like very straightforward. If you don't have time, if you have the resources, you go and get PT. But with everyday life, not equal, like not less important, but people have this kind of reluctance sometimes to get coaching, or maybe sometimes they confuse with therapy. Like, I don't know, what people are thinking. So what did you experience at the beginning when it comes to this entry point, the first step?
Well, sometimes, I mean, the people who are seeking me out, they know that they want that extra support. They've been doing the things on their own for, whatever stretch of time, or they realize they get to that point and being like, okay, I know something's happening. I'm not sure what my blocks are that are keeping me from getting to that next stage. I don't know what I don't know about this, and I want to talk to someone who does. I think that's kind of, it's helped to be in business for a while because it filters out the people who might be just wondering. But I also think, and this might be something to do with how we've been perhaps as women raised to do it all ourselves, to especially high achieving women, that's what I've noticed, to do it all themselves, that asking for help is a sign of weakness. I think there's an unspoken, I think a lot of people carry that thought. I definitely did. That a lot of people can come to a conversation feeling like, well, I'm a smart woman, darn it, I should be able to figure this out. And so that's what they can try to do. But I'm so thankful to say that a lot of the people who are reaching out to me, they are those smart, intelligent women, but they're like, okay, I know I have something's in my blind spot. I can't see it. I'd love to work with someone who'd be able to just all of a sudden, here's a mirror. Hey, look what's over your shoulder there. Were you aware of that? Did you know? And so they're already reaching out. It's almost like they're giving themselves that extra helping hand already from the get-go.
Yeah. I love your answer, because I felt some people, they just, as you said, that they're not in that sort of receiving mode where they're open to ask for help or, go in that. So what you just said really helped, I think, some people who have been thinking or not even knowing they need coaching really make that pivot, because sometimes we need that to jump, to make a leap and get over the edge sometimes. So that's why I think we love it. And I'm sure we can talk all day about all that. So one other thing I want to go back to was early on, you talk about the hours. So you mentioned like sometimes, when we start a business, first of all, we fantasize a little bit, like, and then the reality kicks in and you realize you're working longer hours than you ever in your life, and doing things that you don't even know how landed in your lap. So what I'm sure you met a lot of coachee that is in that situation. What are maybe the top tips that you have for so sort of new entrepreneur or struggling with this time management piece?
Totally. Well, first of all, I usually find that the people who, when we first start working together, a lot of them are high achievers. They'll come to the call saying, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I didn't get anything done this week." And I'm like, "Well, just give me a bit of a snapshot, like maybe what are one or two wins?" And they'll list these things that are like, whoa, where I'm like, that was amazing. That sounds amazing. So I think number one, when it comes to time management, or maybe our expectations around what we should be able to do with the time that we have, we come at it with a bit of a little bit of, I want to say, skewed perception about a couple of things: what we're able to accomplish in the time that we have, and our ability to accomplish what it is. So we overestimate our skills and we underestimate the amount of time that we think it will take us. That I've just found to be a pretty consistent issue that most people, because we're all human, and I'll include myself in this, when I'm first starting a project, I'll usually underestimate the amount of time I think it'll take me. And so first off, double it, usually double the amount of time you think it's going to take you, and measure it, track it. And I did that for a number of years, just to, put down my time estimate. How long do I think this is going to take me? And then I measured how long it actually took me after. And by getting clear on what my personal capacity was, and sometimes some of the boundaries that I was setting with myself about making sure I was staying focused and getting things done, that really helped to support me in becoming more efficient with my time. But again, so that's, well, not again, but that's the first thing. Make sure you're getting really clear with yourself about how much time things will actually take you. That's the first thing. The other thing is measure your boundaries. What are you allowing into your space that maybe you don't necessarily need to? And I think a lot of people feel compelled to check their email constantly to provide whatever level of service they feel that they need to provide. And they're usually going way above and beyond what their client would even expect. So they're setting some really high expectations for themselves that may not actually align with what their customer expectations are. So that's another really key area. And thirdly, a lot of people have these really long to-do lists that sometimes they don't get to tick a lot of things off of those to-do lists. And the secret is that a lot of times they're putting projects on their to-do lists instead of tasks. So they'll be working all day or all week on a certain project, and they've accomplished all of these things toward making that project happen. And they feel like they haven't actually accomplished anything because they can't cross that one thing off of their list.
The mountain.
Yes, exactly. And so I highly recommend people break their projects down into actions. So instead of create website, which a lot of new business owners do, that's one of their goals. Okay, well, that's actually a project. Instead, what are some of the tasks that you will do, those actions you will take today to support you in getting to that place down the road when you will be able to say, all right, I've got my website created, tick, that's done. You can have so many more things that you can check off your list along the way, and you'll feel like you're building momentum. You'll feel that sense of accomplishment, and you really build your confidence as you go.
Yeah, and nothing would be more daunting than, day after day, weeks after weeks, you can't cross out so many things on your to-do list and you felt like a failure. But all the items tend to be like one huge mountain after another. So those tips definitely super useful. But I want to further one of the points you talk about. We all, when we are creative entrepreneurs, especially, we can't help ourselves. But I think it's me seeking advice. So I would have one book project, and then I have another e-commerce store on the go, adding products as we speak, planning the planners for next year that I'm going to launch, and then on the side doing some client servicing, coaching. So what I'm saying? Like we couldn't help ourselves and have creating mountains. So how do we stop myself? First of all, maybe priority and being realistic about time, which you talk about. But then what to do? Like we have all these ideas.
And that's amazing. That's fantastic. An idea for you, I'll just offer it as a potential. There's a fellow called David R. Allen. He's famous for his getting things done system. So what he recommends is that you create a someday maybe folder. So perhaps, or a someday maybe list. So if you've got a great idea, write it down in your someday maybe. But what I recommend and what I work with my clients as well. So that's one idea for you. The other is so what is your vision? What are your goals? Does this new idea align with that vision? Does it align with your goals? If yes, fantastic. what might you need to take off your plate in order to put this one on? So it's a lot of negotiating with yourself.
That's the
That's
hardest
what it comes
part.
down to.
It's like they're all your
Yeah.
children, they all align, they all super make sense, you know, in our eyes, they all do.
Mhm.
But then I think it's the realistic part. You need a coach. Usually I need a coach or friend to tell me, listen, they're all great. They all make sense. They're all congruent, but you can't do 4 kids at the same time. So pick one kid.
Yes, start somewhere and build, right? That's the other thing too. Like they're all amazing ideas. If you just finish this one, wouldn't that be totally amazing instead of having, say, 4 amazing ideas that aren't all completed yet because you feel like you're stretched thin between all of them. So yeah, totally.
So I think that leads to kind of like the question I'm dying to ask you, because I know you run this top success ritual to keep you focused and effective every day. And I think that's what we are all actually was talking about. Like we have ideas, different mountains, but then we pick one. But still, we want to have a system of a routine or ritual to get us moving, to move this mountain every day. So tell us a bit more about your webinars.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I go through some of the framework that a person should have in place because everyone's ritual. So if you're a morning person, your ritual is going to be quite a bit different than the night owl. So what are your success rituals? That's the work I get in on the one-to-one. But in the webinars, I build out the framework to support people in knowing, okay, what are the top things that are going to make you most successful? Where should you focus your time? How do you make sure that this ritual that you would love to accomplish, because so many people come to me saying, I want a morning routine. How do you ensure that that new routine sticks and that you keep with it? So we go over that in the webinar and all of the other things that help support people in getting to that place where you are kicking butt and taking names in your business.
You know, I read somewhere, which I really like, talks about the difference between the routine and the ritual. And it's some people have a connotation to ritual is like burning candles and umming and ahhing. Not true. Your ritual could be running a bath, you know, whatever that is. Very simple. It doesn't have to be all funny with witchy-wooey things.
Yeah, totally.
It's all about intention. That's the difference. Like the routine seems so like, you know, you just go to automatic pilot, while ritual has more intention into each part of it makes sense because it either give you some meaning or that helps you in certain ways. So ritual has a certain intention behind it. And I love that definition because I think it's absolutely true. I don't want to think about my routines.
Totally. Well, and some people love routines too. So, and that's what I love about words because like, and it kind of goes into what I mentioned before about balance. Some people hate that word and it just doesn't work for them. So what is it that they're looking for? So here when you resonate so strongly with rituals, then let's lean into that. What other rituals? Like what are those things that really help support you and feeling like you're being intentional with the day that you're creating, the life that you are living? Whereas with the other people, I'd be like, okay, so what routines do you want to knock out so you don't have to think about anything and just get going with your day? You're already on autopilot, but like on Uber autopilot, who's just boom, boom, boom. You know?
I completely agree. And that's why I think we both really like coaching and obviously being coached as well as coaching others is that uniqueness that we celebrate. Because as you said, sometimes some people love the word routine, but feel uncomfortable with ritual. And so we're all very different individual. And it's about, you know, what works for you and having a coach that is a good fit. It's understanding that, listen for it, but also give you the space and permission to be yourself and yet help you to maybe be a better version of yourself, which I find it really personal. It's a really personal journey.
It is so personal. And that's why, and I think that there's a perception out there, at least I hear this from my clients, that one needs to do a business in a certain way to be successful. Like, what do I need to do? What is step A, B, C, and D to make sure that I have a successful day today? And sure, there are structures and systems that one could use if you're into structures and systems, but there's creativity and flow for those who like that. But like, there is no one right way to go about building a successful business. And I think that when you're just getting started, there's that perception that, well, to start a business, here's my box of successful business kit. If I just do these things, I will be successful. And usually it's a lot more learning, growing, figuring things out along the way. Like you were saying earlier, doing things you've never done before to get to a place where you want to go, or stretching yourself to a place that you've never gone before, way past what you'd be comfortable doing, learning things about yourself as you go. So it's that perception, I think, that can hold a lot of us back, because we're always looking for, well, what's the right way to do it? And there really isn't a right way.
And sometimes we need someone beside us, because sometimes we have this voice in our head, very critical, or there's comparison. Sometimes we drop into these weak spots and over analyzing, and then you can't really compare. You may hear other people doing it as a certain way, as you said, and very successful, but maybe this person have a very different background or different strengths, and you have different things, different stage in life. You have a newborn baby. I mean, you want to work more than 10 hours a day? It's not possible, right? And I think that's why, what you said really resonated with me, is because it's not like that. You can't just, have the successful business kit.
Wouldn't that be nice though? Like, wouldn't that be amazing? You want to be an entrepreneur? Here you go.
Eat this, drink this, that will do it, like a magic potion. But, but on the other hand, it kind of takes the magic away, because isn't it, the story is so much richer if you look back. It's that despite all that, she did this and this and this, and that's how she make it work for her. And I think that it's about celebrating our uniqueness and a permission to do it your way, given structures.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you don't work at all, like 0 hour for every 3 months, then it's not going to happen.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, one needs to put in a little bit of work, absolutely, along the way.
So today has been really fun, and I know you run this webinar pretty regularly. So and it's online. Can you tell us a little bit more about, also, if people resonate with this interview, what's the best way to contact you and find out more information?
Yes, well, through my website, it's a great way to do that. They can either, if they're interested in learning more, they can register for the webinar, or they can reach out to me at my email, Erin@erinacton.com. I'm always open for email inquiries as well. So either of those ways work for me. And I'll also do complimentary strategy sessions where I support people in finding out, okay, so where are you now? Where do you want to be? What's in your way? And how can you best get there? And if it's working together, fantastic. If it's not, that's great too. I refer people to other folks, or, maybe there's one little tweak that they can make and they're on their way.
Yeah, we got to start somewhere, don't we?
Absolutely. That's the key. Start somewhere, act on it, make it happen. And before you know it, you pile all those together and you've created something pretty spectacular.
Thank you so much. I really enjoy our call, and I will list all the contact information on the page details as well for the podcast. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity, Siwing, and I so loved our chat. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.